Okay, we're recording now. I'm going to go ahead and get started on this Moxie Monday by addressing the deep desire that we might be born with to be successful. Like, they call it the DNA of an entrepreneur, the DNA of somebody who has a hunger to do something different with their life, to do something big with their life, maybe a desire to be your own boss. Like, I never had that. And this is going to sound bizarre. I never in my entire life wanted to be my own boss. Like, I never wanted to be an entrepreneur. I never wanted to start my own company. I was too afraid. I don't have any entrepreneurs in my family at all. I actually remember telling my brother-in-law, who now is going to be owning his own business, or taking over the business he works for. I told him I would never be in sales. I would never run my own business. It's too much pressure. It's yucky. I'm not going to be sold. I just want to clock in, clock out kind of thing. Now, have I always had the desire to do something ginormous with my life? Yes, and I never knew what that was. And until I was able to get my mind out of the box and understand that my ambition was directing me to a certain, without using the word destiny as dramatic, but my ambition was my destiny, and my ambition to do something big with my life, it's not just going to happen if I sit around and play it safe, if I sit around and let my fears dictate what's going on, if I sit around and think, well, I'd much rather watch this show or go to sleep or eat these bonbons than to be successful. It takes a lot of destiny. I just wrote a quote on my Facebook, said that discipline is, I don't want to mess up the quote. It says, discipline is essential to destiny. All right. So for those of you who have an entrepreneur spirit in you, who is also a mother, will you raise your hand? And that could be a dog mom. That could be a wife who has to take care of a needy husband. Let's just be real. I'm just kidding. Yeah. I'm just kidding. Nick just walked out the door and he's probably going to be like, excuse me? But I want to show you guys this clip, show you guys this quick motivational video about having an ambitious mind. So really quickly, can somebody unmute? Well, actually, before I unmute you guys, I'll go ahead and push play so we can watch this. All right, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen so we get the right mindset. I don't want anybody to be distracted by what is going on around you, even though being a mom also means being a multitasker. We'll see if we can get this done and focus.
Everybody has a desire to do something. Everybody has a desire to do something. But they don't have that, they don't know how to really complete the process of dedicating themselves and having the discipline to do it. If you got the desire, you got to match that desire with your dedication, and you got to match it with your discipline. It may not happen at the moment that you want it to, but you got to understand the process. Everybody wants it yesterday.
What happens is a lot of people set goals. And they have this big goal and they look at it like this giant staircase. They're like, that just seems impossible. There's no way. It looks too hard. It looks too much work. And they don't ever start. They set a goal. Yeah, I want to be at the top of that staircase. It's easy to write that down. But when they go to actually start climbing it, they just go, that's just true. But if all you did was just look at the first step and get on that first step. And then when you're on that step, just look at the next step. That's it. Don't look up. Just look at that next step.
You have to understand that it's not going to be easy. People think that there's no challenges. Again, people want it yesterday.
Most people want the convenience of transformation without the inconvenience.
What we do is we kind of check out because it feels overwhelming, or we check out because we're afraid, or we check out because we start listening to self-doubt, and then we make these teeny tiny decisions all day long. We don't even realize it. Decision to not get up on time, a decision to not eat the right thing, a decision to snap at your kids, a decision to not speak in a meeting, a decision to not look for a job, like whatever it is. all day long, these tiny decisions that take you so far off track. And then you wake up and you look at your life and you think, how the hell did I get here?
The reason why a lot of people won't become who they want is because they're too attached to who they've been. And you hear it all the time when people say, I've always been this way. Okay, well, if that's working for you, keep doing that.
Every single person who has ever done anything worthwhile or exceptional or difficult or extraordinary, anyone, whether it's great artists or authors or mathematicians or whatever it is, everyone encounters difficulties. There is no easy road. It does not exist. It is impossible. Everyone has issues. When you come up with excuses for why other people are successful and you're not, that is dangerous. When you give yourself an escape, yeah, well, that's easy for you to say, you do this, you do. Trust me, everybody has a hard road.
You have to look at the bigger picture. You have to have belief in yourself. You have to have faith in yourself. Faith is not really just having an understanding that everything will be okay, but faith is understanding that if things don't go your way, or if it doesn't turn out the way you want to, it's still going to be okay.
We all go through hard times. We all go through depression. We all go through doubt and moments in your life where it's really difficult. That is what makes you a person. And those difficult moments are what build your character. Show me a great man who's the son of a great man. And that's what we're saying. These kids that are born billionaires, you're never going to be a self-made person. You have a backup trust for your backup trust for your trust.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. If you don't push yourself, if you don't find out where the boundaries of your current skill level are, and you don't fall, you don't get any better. No matter how talented, experienced, or privileged somebody else is, you can beat anybody at anything. You can accomplish any goal you set your sights on over time. If you are just more consistent than everybody else around you, you will win every race that you run.
Woo! All right, hello. Hope that got you guys awake. Woo! So having an ambitious mind is incredible. And I don't care who you are listening to this call. If you were born knowing that you wanted to magically run your own business in health and fitness, and you knew that was your destiny, or you knew you wanted to, be at home with your kids, or if you wanted to do this on the side, or if you are like me, who did not want to run my own business, but then discovered myself in the process of starting this because I had to find a solution for my family. But I want to introduce you guys to Erin. And Erin is somebody that I met in college. She actually was probably closer to Nick and his group of friends, my husband. But Erin is somebody, her and her family, they have that entrepreneur spirit. They have that ambitious mind, and she always has. She's been an entrepreneur for 7 years now. Her and her family own a company for dog grooming called the Wagon Wagon, which is amazing. I'm like, that is so brilliant. So being so innovative and starting something like that, I can't imagine how scary that was. Fast forward 6.5 years later, and she started as a Beachbody coach, and her road thus far has not been easy or predictable. So I'm going to let Erin take the reins. I want to first let you guys know that Erin is a success starter, which means that she jumped in this business and she hit Success Club 3 months in a row, earned her free ticket to Summit, and she's just on this upward climb to continue to hit her goals in the business. So super proud of everything you've achieved so far, and I'm honored to be on this call with you, lady. All right, you get it. Sorry, I'll stop talking.
Y'all hear me? You can hear me? Okay, awesome. Okay, yeah, like Laura said, my name is Erin. I'm from, I say Atlanta because I live in Atlanta now, from Fayetteville. If any of you guys are from Georgia, I know Laura has a lot of coaches in the Georgia area just from being from that area. I'm going to give you a little history because, like Laura said, I do have a family of entrepreneurs. Never knew that's where I was going, but I am from a family of entrepreneurs. So I grew up in the public school system until about middle school. Then I was put in a Christian private school. fought that hand and foot, did not want to be there. I thought I've done nothing wrong. My brother was the problem child. That's where he should have been. And I learned a lot about myself through adversity. I was the kid who came from public school. I was very judged. I was told, because I grew up differently than a lot of them, that I wasn't a Christian and all of that kind of stuff. So I learned to fight hard battles at a young age. And at the time, I hated it. I went home crying every single day. I got along with the kids. It was the parents and the teachers that were the problem. So I realized after I graduated, went off to West Georgia, that really made me a stronger person. And that was kind of my first experience. I didn't know it at the time, but looking back at it, that really kind of formed who I was as a person. I mean, I give the credit to my family, I give the credit to my teachers and all of that as well, but really the adversity that I felt just in middle school. So I went on to West Georgia. I cheered in college. I've had a very active background. Didn't cheer for very long because I realized I kind of like the social life too. And then I graduated with a BFA in graphic design and photography. Thought that's where I was headed. I did that for years actually, but realized I didn't want to be a starving artist. And I also didn't want to work all holidays and weekends as a photographer, because I knew at some point I wanted to have a family. So I'm kind of I say I am, what is that quote? You're a master at none, but you've done a ton of skills, whatever that one is. You know what I mean? I went in and I was a flight attendant internationally for a year for an international charter. Wanted to have a family once again, needed to meet people, came home. My background with my family, about jack of all trades, master of none. Yes, that's it. About, I want to say when I was in middle school, my mom started one of our own first businesses. She is a physical therapist. She started specializing in breast cancer rehab and went out on her own and did that. That was huge to watch my mom as a female go out on a limb and just start her own business from scratch and do nothing. And she's done very well with it. My dad was an IT director for Delta, and now went on to start his own coffee company. And then he also, in 2010, my dad came to me and decided he wanted to help me start a business. We had talked to a dog groomer because we were looking for one for our own dogs. Had no luck. They were all busy and packed. So they were like, well, you're smart enough and you're artistic enough, so why don't you try it? Took me a couple years to he came to me before 2010. Took me a couple years to try to decide if I wanted to do it. So financially, my dad started the business. I basically came into this business, fake it till you make it, you guys. I didn't know what I was doing. Very similar to what we all do with Beachbody. And that sounds bad. It's not a bad thing though, because we all learn as we go. I realized looking back at school, a lot of what I learned was not in the classroom. It was being out in the field. It was actually doing the job, because you can't learn how to work your way through hardships and how to work your way through difficult situations in a classroom. So I think that's one thing that drew me to Beachbody as I'm fast forwarding, that was kind of like, you know what, I got to take a chance. That's the only thing that gives me life experiences. But going back, we did start in April of 2010. I started it after I graduated college with about $15,000 in debt, not because I had to pay for school, because I was bad with credit cards. My family raised me, taking care of everything. And then I get into college and they paid all my school bills. They paid for me to live, but everything else I kind of just added up on a credit card and expected daddy to pay for it, and it didn't happen. So I had to figure out how I was going to pay off all that debt. Let me see, in 2010 also, we had some really tough experiences. I lost one of our wonderful friends who lived with my husband and I at the time. We were not married, just tragically. And it really opened my eyes to life and how we only live once. So that's what actually really pushed me into starting the business. After that, let me see, I have notes over here. That's why I keep looking at, because I'm really bad at this. I decided I wanted to start my own business for many reasons. I wanted to make my own schedule. I didn't want anybody telling me when I was going to work and when I wasn't going to work. I was tired of somebody saying, hey, I had to sit in front of a desk, even though I felt like I wasn't getting anything done. And I felt like it was a waste of my time. Very much so why I think a lot of us get into Beachbody. I had no experience coming into this. I felt like I was maybe not being myself, but I think it actually made me more myself because all I had to sell was myself. So I think when I compare starting the Wagon to jumping in with Beachbody, I have to say I was the first month in when I started. I was invited to, I'm skipping way ahead, but I'll kind of go back and forth a little bit. I was invited to the Top 12 Coach Retreat. Was not a Top 12 coach, but I learned a lot from those girls that were there. And I think that's what made me realize, you know what, anybody can do this. These girls all started from scratch. I look at Laura's story. I look at Brittany Leggett's story. All of them. If you look at everybody, they all started from scratch and nobody was handed anything. It all takes hard work and effort. And that takes me back to starting my other business. It all can kind of go hand in hand, where I started with one van making my first dog. I only made $55 and I worked for 3.5 hours. And no, I worked for 5 hours on that dog. Excuse me. My husband told me, this is so retarded. You're not going to make any money. Just like so many people have told me with Beachbody. This is so stupid. You're wasting your time. You're not going to make any money. So if I would have listened to all of those people that tell me those things, I wouldn't be where I am today. My husband and I ended up getting married in 2012. We decided we wanted to right away start a family. Didn't realize how hard that would be for us. Early 2013, I had my first miscarriage. And I had 2 more miscarriages up until 2014. We decided to start fertility at that time. And it was, never knew that process was going to be so long and so difficult and so trying, because nobody ever goes into anything thinking it's going to be hard. Not that kind of, you look at all these people that have babies and you think, well, everybody can have a baby. What's wrong? Like, this can't be that difficult. So I kind of right off the bat of an early marriage started with adversity. So I feel like in every little step of everything I've done and every change I've made in my life, I switched schools in middle school. There was adversity. I went to West Georgia and started cheering. There was many reasons that I ended up quitting just because it just wasn't a good fit for me. And that was adversity. That was difficult. I cheered my whole life to get to this point, that something I thought I wanted to do in college, and I had to let go of it. I graduate from college thinking I'm going to be an artist. Didn't work out for me. I wasn't making any money, so I had to do something else. So as I followed through all of my steps of life, I realized nothing that's worth anything came easy. So we are now up to 2014 in the depths of fertility. We bought our second van and started our second van. We've had other groomers working for us. I ended up getting pregnant through IUI with fertility and had a beautiful baby boy in March of 2015. And I went back to work 6 weeks later, because when you run your own business, nobody's making the money except for you. So we decided at that point we really needed to start really training other groomers to help us out. So we did that. It's very difficult to run a business like the Wagon because you have to find people who are reliable, people who are going to show up to work on time every single day. People are depending on them. Those people are coming to me and complaining if there's an issue. So I realized really quickly that's not what I wanted to do. I love the Wagon. It's my family business. I put my heart and soul into that business. It supports not only me and my family, but my parents as well, because they also have a buy-in to it. And I started quickly realizing I wanted to be home and raise this little boy that we worked so hard for. So when he was about 1.5 years, I decided that I always watched Laura's videos and saw how inspiring she was, but I kind of thought that's not for me. I'm not ready to share my whole life on Facebook as much as I'll share little parts of it, but I just can't put it all out there. But one day she just did a video, made me really think. I just messaged her it was about Leland, and you've all heard her talk about some of his issues at school. And I didn't message her, actually. I just liked it, and she messaged me, and that got the ball rolling. What was incredible about that to me is I didn't even know in the back of my head that what Laura was doing was going to create that big of an impact in my own life. I just thought I was liking a video about her little boy having problems at school. And what I immediately, like I said, was invited to that top 12 retreat. And what I learned on that top 12 retreat is sharing your life and being you. And I thought, okay, I can do this. Let's just do this. Let's just jump in. And I was already in the depths of going through my second bout of fertility treatment. I was just about to start IVF for our second baby. And I thought nothing better than to go ahead and share this story. So I did. I started sharing my story. I realized I was getting a lot of feedback from women going through very similar struggles or knowing somebody who went through similar struggles, and decided, okay, this can work. I hit Success Club the first 3 months, and then it started going downhill from there. It has not been all roses and flowers for me in this business. I hear so many people say, I hit the ground running. I didn't stop. I never looked back. That is not my story. That's not my story at all. Not even close. Come this past December, I decided that I was really starting to struggle. I was in the depths of IVF and starting medications pretty heavily. I had my first transfer in December, and I was told to cut back on working out. So I did. So all I could really do was drink Shakeology. And that was great. That got me kind of far, but I couldn't post about working out. I felt like I was kind of being phony, which was totally not my thing. And thank God for my Success Club or Success partner, Christine. She has gotten me so far and helped me so much. One thing I will say about getting into this business, especially when you have so much going on in your life, to pick a success partner. You're in two not totally different parts of life. She has 3 kids as well. Well, I don't have 3, but she's got kids. She's got a busy life. I mean, relate. That's a totally different style up there, right? That's what I thought. But Christine has gotten me so far. She's helped me run challenge groups. Every single month we've stuck together, and I know sometimes she probably wants to blow my head off because I'm not as involved sometimes depending on what I'm going through. But I hope one thing I wanted to tell you guys is when you do that, you know you have each other's backs to help each other out. Because some of us who are working multiple jobs, and she also has another job too, we don't have the time like some stay-at-home moms who maybe can work their kids' schedule in between what they're doing. We're working our own schedule plus the kids' schedule, plus we're trying to build this other side business. And Laura knows exactly what this is because she had to do it in the beginning as well. So fast forward, I lost another baby in January. The first transfer didn't work, and I kind of hit rock bottom. I'm a very spiritual person. I started doubting everything. I started doubting Beachbody. I started doubting the Wagon. I started doubting my faith. I started doubting everything. And I think that came through in my post, just the way I kind of lived my life in a way, because I went from posting everything to trying to stay on top of everything to not sharing anything. And that was totally not me. I mean, my whole goal when I got into Beachbody was granted, people say this all the time. I got into Beachbody to make extra money. I wanted to be a stay-at-home mom. That's the God's honest truth. But I also did want to help people, and I loved that I could make money helping other people. So when I started sharing my journey with infertility, I felt like people were coming out of the trenches, people that I had no clue were going through this, and they were wanting support and help as well. But then I turned my back a little bit on them because I stopped sharing my journey. So they probably felt like, well, where'd she go? I say all this in saying that even when times are tough, what I love about running my own business is that it's my business and I can run it the way I want to run it, and I can do it the way I want to do it. Did it hurt me to step back a little bit? Absolutely. Financially, emotionally, physically, that all hurt me. But another thing that I love about it is it's my business. So I can come back to it. It's not like I had to go to my boss and say, hey, you guys, I'm stepping out for a little bit, they're not going to be like, cool. They're going to be like, no, you got to show up to work. So when you do these things, like starting your own businesses, it's awesome because yes, a lot is on your shoulders. A lot is depending on you. And granted, I have a husband who makes an income, so it's not just me. But you also know that wherever you left off, you can pick back up. It's not just going to go away. And that's what I love about this business. You might lose a little bit, but there's always a new starting point. So I say that in all of that. And yay, I announced recently, yes, we are finally pregnant. Our second round and our final round of IVF did work. It was our last embryo that we had left. So we were kind of putting all of our eggs in one basket, literally. And now I kind of feel like I just went to the doctor the other day and was given the approval to start working out at 12 weeks. So I am going to be 11 weeks on Thursday. So I will hopefully be getting back into the groove and feel like I can be my honest and open self again through Facebook, through Instagram, through everything, and actually be a part of the business and not just talking about it, because that makes a huge difference. I have found through experience, faking it by not actually doing the programs and not actually drinking the shakes. I physically haven't been able to get them down recently. It doesn't work. People see right through that. You have to actually believe in the products, and to actually believe in the products, you got to be doing them. You got to see that they work for you. And they did in the beginning for me. So I'm coming back to that. So a huge thing about running your own business or running multiple businesses and raising a family, thank you so much, Christy, is scheduling. I am not an organized person. You would think, oh, you run 2 businesses, you're super organized. Not in the least. I am not organized at all. I'm extremely scatterbrained. I'm very ADD. I'm artsy. I'm not. I don't even do math. Like, that's just way too controlled for me. So one thing I have to say is scheduling is huge though. So I've realized, and I've already sat down and made a schedule for how I'm going to get back on track and how I'm going to get things going and how I'm going to make sure I can make this work, because I know it can work. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in other people, and I saw a change in me even in the first 3 months that I started. So I can tell you a little bit about how I've set it up. I'm going to get up. I'm going to do a 6 a.m. workout. My little boy wakes up. I'm going to take care of him and do my little boy things. He doesn't go to daycare. I am now recently, because I was put on a semi-bed rest, I have now 100% taken myself out of grooming, and I'm running the business, doing all the scheduling and that. So I will be home 100% mostly of the time. But I'm still running 2 businesses. Like I said, I still return calls. So my window, luckily I have a napper. He typically naps between 12 and 4, sometimes to 3. I have to split that time half and half, Beachbody and the Wagon. It's doable. It's a lot of work, but it's doable. When he's eating lunch, I'm returning messages. I mean, it is what it is. And I hear from some of the top coaches, it gets better. As you start getting up, as you start getting used to that schedule, it does get better. Also, building relationships with like-minded people. It doesn't have to, for me, yes, I have an entrepreneurial spirit. It doesn't have to be an entrepreneurial person. It could be somebody, like I said, going through fertility. In my case, for Laura, she connects with a lot of people who have children who might have developmental learning issues. It could be many different things. A lot of us have come into this business. I was not one of them. I grew up in a family that worked out a lot. So health and fitness was very important to me. But a lot of us came into this business and thought, I need to lose weight. So this can help me get on the right track, and I can help other people as I go along the way. One thing I love about this is that if I weren't here doing it, somebody else will be, but they're not going to touch those same people that I'm going to touch. So as a coach, part of what keeps me driven is knowing that there are people out there that I can reach and help that may never have gotten that help if they didn't know me. So that is huge when it comes to Beachbody for me. And honestly, there have been days, if I'm being completely honest, where I've stepped back and thought, this isn't for me. It's taking up time that I said I wanted to spend with my son. It's taking effort. But then I step back again and I realize everything I've ever done has taken time and effort, and I wouldn't be where I'm at today if I didn't put that time and effort into it. So if I had to go back through it, I would also say anytime with Beachbody, you're invited to an event, whether it be Super Saturday, whether it be a retreat, try to do your best to go, because that's what's kept me motivated. I haven't turned down one event to go to for the simple reason that I knew I'm that type of person that feeds off of that. And that's what keeps me going in this business. So I don't know if you guys have any questions. If Laura had questions, that's kind of where I'm at. If you have particulars about how I did things or what I'm doing, I can teach you a lot more from my mistakes than I can what I've done right, but I can tell you what hasn't worked for me.
Girl, I'm floored. I mean, I know your story, but you just seem, your strength, I mean, as you just relive it and walk through it, because I didn't even know the first part of it. I didn't know like pre-college life and even those struggles, or even like your family always having this entrepreneurial attitude. But first of all, my heart tells me to remind you to allow yourself grace, not because, slacking and disappointing yourself is excusable, but because you have been transparent and because you have remained strong and faithful with your family, faithful with your momness. You said it yourself, nothing is ruined. You can pick right back up. So abound like an abundance of grace, girl. Like, you did not ruin yourself. You did not ruin your reputation. You did not ruin us just because you had to take a level 5 instead of a level 10 for a season in your life. It's completely okay. So that being said, I love this call. I love this call for 5,000 reasons, because we don't typically talk about hard times, do we? I guess we try to, but like, we usually just say things are going awesome, we're breaking records, the momentum is insane, but real life stuff happens, and some days are heavy, and if we don't address that, then it feels like it's your fault. For me anyways, like if Beachbody life was all painted as everyone has it all together, everyone is organized, everyone talks to people and they get a bunch of yeses, then I would be like, it's me. It's my fault. What am I doing wrong? And I would feel so discouraged, and I would have so much weight on my shoulder. So I hope in the midst of this transparency, it can inspire you to realize that being human is unavoidable. And walking through that, and what she was sharing of like pushing through and identifying what you wanted. And she said she has had those gut checks. She sat back and she said, this is hard, but you know what? Everything I've ever wanted in life was hard. And when I achieved it, it was worth it. And you have to do your own gut checks. Like Erin and I, or whatever person, that you're working with or talking to, or that you are looking up to, your upline, they're going to have their own journey, but you are responsible for your journey. You are responsible for your destiny. You are responsible for the steps that you take every single day. The video we watched at the beginning, having that ambitious mind, it's up to you. So I don't know where you're at in your head right now. It's the middle of the month. And typically we set month-to-month goals, or then we set the 12-week goals. But as we wrap up this call and even wrap up the first half of the month, I want to challenge you guys with something. I want you to have a heart-to-heart with yourself. I want you to ramp up your why. Erin wants to be at home. She wants freedom. She has full hope in that, okay? What do you guys want? And do you believe that you can achieve it through hard work and consistency? Do you believe that you have it in you? And if you're struggling with that belief, I will tell you boldly, you will get nowhere fast, because the first step to success is belief. And you have to, 1, believe in yourself, and 2, believe that you partner with Beachbody, this amazing company, this amazing team, to lead you in the right direction, to fulfill that life goal that you have. Whether it's like Erin wanted to do at the beginning, to pay off this $15,000, when she was a college student, after she graduated. If it was to be a stay-at-home mom, is it to just be a part of something bigger than yourself? Okay. Even chat in the chat box really quick, like, what are your whys in this business? What do you want out of it? And being a mompreneur, like being an entrepreneur, having your own business online, do you really in your deepest heart, without faking it, do you believe that this road can lead you to success? It might take you a second to write out your whys unless it's super fast. I would love, love, love to just read some of them really quick, unless one of you guys want to unmute yourself and share. 3 people? Are 3 people willing to unmute themselves and share their why and their belief? If you really believe, you'll be confident enough to talk about it.
I'll tell you my why, Laura.
Okay.
My why for this business is to get my family out of debt, because we are just drowning in it right now. It's suffocating and immobilizing. And the one thing I want to do is be able to get us financially free to where we don't have to worry about how we're going to pay for our groceries next month, how we're going to buy clothes for my daughter. And it's a struggle. And my husband's getting out of the military in like 6 months. So now I'm in even more of a predicament of not knowing where we're going to get this money from.
I can't imagine how terrified that feeling must be. And let me just encourage you, Erica, that it's one day at a time. The mountain that you see in front of you might feel overwhelming, but it's one step at a time, one choice at a time, one getting out of your way at a time, getting out of your head and not being negative or not being, doubting yourself or making choices to take action instead of sitting back. That will propel you in the right direction. Just one day at a time. You got this. Katrina said she wants to retire her husband from his military career. Danielle said she wants to be debt-free. I have a lot of student loans, want to go down to be part-time with my day job and eventually stay at home when I do have kids. So I'm starting to build that now. That's awesome. That's exactly what – I have a mosquito here. That's exactly what Brittany Leggett did. Christy, she said time, financial freedom, retire husband from the police department. Christy says financial freedom is spend more time at home with my kids and travel. Love that. I love to travel. I have the travel bug as well. This is real life stuff. And I love being a part of these visions with you because it motivates me to level up. And I hope that it could motivate you to take your step in the right direction. Why not us? Why not us? Every single person in Beachbody who's ever been successful, who is top coach or 6-figure earner, who paid off debt or advanced in rank, they have the same exact opportunity as we do. The same exact opportunity. So they're sitting here. There's no difference. Absolutely zero difference in them and us. I'm sitting here pushing mute on a bunch of things that just popped up on my screen. I want not only to contribute to our family financially, but to be able to give us a life we look forward to every day. I want to help inspire others to make positive changes in their life. And I want to show Lily that one person can really make a difference. Am I frozen? No? Okay. My husband has to have open heart surgery in a few months, and I want to make sure we are financially stable. Freedom to choose education options for my children. Love that, Carrie. I love our conversations about this. Spend time with my family, travel, and relieve stress with my husband so we can pursue his dreams as well. I love it. I love it. I want you to hold on to that so deeply. Christian, I saw that you wrote something as well, but you shared it privately, so I don't know if you want me to read it. Maybe that was an accident. But I won't read it just in case because Anyways, thank you guys for your transparency. Thank you, Erin, for sharing your heart, sharing your story, the good and the bad, because that takes a lot of courage. It absolutely takes courage. And I hope that you guys can realize sharing good things and hard things on social media is going to only make you more relatable and allow yourself to be human, but always have the mindset of being able to be ambitious, be positive, and to grow in the right direction, because whining, complaining, negative, fussing, that's only going to attract those people into your life. So if you choose to focus on the negative and then all of a sudden there's all negativity in your life, that's exactly why. But if you choose to put one foot in front of the other, take one step at a time and make good choices to better your life, then you're going to attract that into your life. So everything is a choice. Every single thing you do is a choice. I've rambled, but I'm inspired. So I thank you guys. I'm going to post that YouTube link in Moxie in case you guys want to share it. I will share it with my challenge groups as well because everyone needs, motivation in there. Sweet. Well, thank you for spending 45 minutes of your evening with us. Thank you again, Erin. You are awesome. I got so much out of this, and I know everyone else did too. All right, guys. Mwah. Happy Monday. Get to work.